What is up, guys, and welcome to another video. And this is why. Oh my God, last night was crazy. Um, Shout out to the Mets, man. I know we're not gonna talk about them in this video, but man, it's hard to talk about the Knicks right now when the Mets just had one of the greatest games of all time. I mean, Pete Alonso hit a freaking three-run shot to keep the Mets going, and the Phillies are gonna have some trouble. And I'll talk about that later. They do not want to play us. They do not want to see us because we're going to play with house money. So that's going to be about it. All the talk for the Mets. But let's talk about the New York Knicks and why you guys are here. That will be on Sunday. I'll be talking about the Mets a little bit more if you want to hear that. But yeah, um, what's up, guys, and welcome to this next offseason episode. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about this cat trade. Welcome back, Patrick Ewing. Let's start with that. You know, it's great. It's great. This rebuild went full circle, and this rebuild is complete. And now Ewing wants to complete it by being on this team when they win a championship or being an ambassador for the team and getting himself a ring. I think if they win, I think that's how it works. But great for him. Welcome back. Always welcome players back in the Garden who played for them, unless you left the team like freaking like if you left the team like like on a bad note, okay, no, but Ewing is Ewing, and we'll bring him back whenever the hell he wants to. If he wants to come back as a player, as a coach, as an ambassador, doesn't matter. Ewing, you're always welcome, and players like that, players like Randall, Dante, always welcome back, always welcome back. Um, but big shout out to the Knicks for not being over the second apron, and that is what's going to my title of the Knicks outsmarted the NBA. Now I'm gonna read this tweet by Yossi Goslin. This is an NBA salary cap analyst, which I'm not an NBA salary cap analyst. I'm not an NBA salary cap analyst. The New York Knicks managed to increase their payroll in both the Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges trades, despite being an apron team. They did this by inflating their outgoing salary required with every remaining free agent from last year. They had some former bird rights too. Excellent work by the front office for the creativity and execution of all within the second apron. Um, they did this by inflating their outgoing salary. So that's just Leon Rose and the crew, Brock Aller, I think that's his name, kind of outsmarting the NBA. And the second apron, you know why it's very bad? Like the second apron, you don't want to be on a second apron. But this is why. Second apron, all first apron restrictions, which are no sign trades, no trade exceptions, no taking back money in trades, no no aggregating contracts and trades. Uh, Man, I'm not a reader for you, but no trading cash, limited sign trade rules, 2032 first frozen if you finish above the second apron. So that's a lot of stuff that you do not want to be in. A lot of stuff. No trading cash, limited signing trades. Those are big. And the Knicks have stayed on the first apron where they can't make any signing trades, where there's no trade exceptions, but that's about it. No making, like, there's a lot of other stuff in the second apron, but you know, it's very bad to be on that second apron. You're paying the money, you're paying the league money, and you cannot do stuff. And now the Knicks have made some wiggle room where they can make some trades, or maybe a mid trade at the deadline could be possible, where they can be able to make themselves a trade. When they were on when if they were over the second apron, would be pretty hard to make a trade. But now it's pretty easy. It's everybody's probably over the first apron. So the Knicks are not really as much as it looks. Oh, they got cat's so much money. Man, they're still in the first apron, which are great for them. If you didn't understand, I'm sorry, but we'll get to the other stuff of this video when I'm trying to talk about what impact does this trade have on chemistry. I don't think it has a lot on chemistry. Yes, it sucks to lose Dante. It does. I'm being honest with you. It 100% does. College teammates hate to lose him. Uh, but Cat has been a guy that Thibs knows. I know it's been a long time since Thibs has coached him, but he kind of knows the way the game plan works with Dibs, and I think he will be very good. And Cat has never been a guy that had been a locker room distraction. No, he's actually been the opposite. Has been one of the great players in the league at being off the court, and really his relationship with Ant was very healthy, which gives me very great confidence with his relationship with Jalen Brunson and his relationship with um with other players on the team like Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, just all those other players. It just gives me a lot of confidence. He'll it's be very good. He'll be a very good fit, um, and he'll learn about the team. If he'll learn how to act with the team, if he doesn't really know how to talk or what do they do outside of the sport, well, he'll kind of learn with the team. And Jalen Brunson's a great guy. Josh Hart's a great guy. They'll have fun, and just he knows Thibodeau a lot, so it's going to be fun to have him on the team, and I know the players cannot wait to have him on the team. Um, how does this rank against? How does this rank them against Boston? Well, I don't. The thing is, it doesn't really push us over the top, but I feel like it really does rank us a little bit better because of the stretch five of Karl Anthony Towns and the switch flipped for the Celtics when they got KP. I know KP is not Karl Anthony Towns, but they're two different players. But the way that KP shot the ball really helped the Celtics out a lot in getting themselves a championship. Probably was the leading force for that championship of having that center have to come out and guard the three ball. I mean, back then it's been for the Celtics the last few years been Robert Williams the center. As good as Robert Williams is, he's pretty good. He just a lot of injuries in these last few years. It's the stretchability is not there. And now you can run a 5-out offense, and it's gonna be great for Brunson run that 5-out offense where everyone's a threat to shoot the ball. I think that's the number one goal nowadays in the NBA. Everyone's got to be a threat to shoot the ball. Every player talked about spacing when they mentioned Cat. I think that's the kind of talk around Cat is that he will add spacing, and what they mean by it is that Brunson Hart, not Dante, Brunson Hart, Mikal will all have their driving lanes because the center isn't going to be down there trying to man the paint. Because if they are, then you could just have a kick out of Karl Anthony Towns. You're leaving the best 3-point shooter. You're leaving the best 3-point shooting center of all time wide open. So it'll help the other players as well bringing in Cat. That's why spacing is also important because of the drives are now open. Also, of course, there's 3-point shooting. I mean, now you can have Brunson run a 5-out offense, and that's just unstoppable. It's just that simple. You got 4 players who can shoot the ball around Brunson. It's just like you're just thinking about that. Just picture that if you're a Knicks fan. 4 guys who are threats from 3 around Brunson. That's amazing. That's great. And you can have guys who can make backdoor cuts, who know how to move out the ball. It's great. I mean, you can run now Thibodeau can run a lot of different plays. Mikal Bridges wants to be the guy that can do everything on the court. I think that's great because, you don't really know how the game plan works for Thibs, but if you are the guy that can do everything on the court, Thibs will play you. Not like Mikal Bridges won't get played by Thibs, but you've seen OG Anunoby, you've seen Josh Hart come into the team and just start cutting, just start moving without the ball, just start trying to do whatever they can to make the team win. And Thibodeau sees that and he respects that, and he's gonna play you more. That's just easy way of getting minutes with Thibs is just moving at the ball, playing solid defense, do whatever you can to get the W. And that's something that Thibodeau will look at and be like, this guy wants to do whatever he can to win. And you need to take those sacrifices. And the Boston Celtics did that very well. Where a lot of players took sacrifices like Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. All those kind of wings took sacrifices because for the greater good. And Mikal Bridges looks like a guy who could definitely take a sacrifice. Maybe he won't score 25 a game. Maybe we'll score 15, 16. But that's a sacrifice you have to make to win games. Not everybody's going to score 20 points. There's only one basketball. I know that's a kind of, everybody use that analogy. Oh, there's only one basketball, but there is. And Mikal Bridges being the guy that wants to do everything on the court helps a lot and gives Thibodeau the confidence to play him. I think that's the first thing you have to look at when playing with Thibodeau. Can I do everything on the court? And that's the number one thing. And you saw what OG Anunoby said his first game. I'm just cutting. I don't know the game plan. I don't know nothing, but I'm just going to cut. I'm just going to try to do whatever I can on the court. And I'm not going to try to be, this catch and shoot three-point shooter, try to run plays I don't know. No, I'm just going to cut. Backdoor. Use my athleticism. And if Mikal Bridges can do that, he will find himself time on this Knicks team. And he'll be very respected by all the fan bases, all the coaches, and all of his teammates. Why didn't the Wolves accept Mitch and Randall for Cat? Well, it's obvious. You look at Naz Reid. You look at what Naz Reid brought in the playoffs last season. You don't really want to give that up. You don't really want to give his spot up. And there's no reason for you to get clogged at center where you have a great player in Naz Reid who you have seen play well when Cat's not on the floor. You've seen your team compete with Cat now on the floor. And that's the biggest thing when they made this trade. Can we get Naz Reid in this lineup? And he's the future right now at that center position. I think he's the future at that center position. And he can do a lot on the basketball court. So why would you bring in Mitch when you have somebody like Naz Reid? You need to get better at your wings, guards. You might want to have somebody who can mentor Rob Dillingham, who could take the pressure off of Rob Dillingham so he doesn't have to do everything to start the season off the bench. So you bring it down to DiVincenzo. And why would you want two bigs? Like Randall, yes, you want Randall, all NBA player. But then why another big? You got Nas. Nas is great, and you have Nas and Rudy. Why add Mitch? That just doesn't make any sense. That's just I don't even know why you offer that. I mean, they're doing this trade because they want Nas Reid to flourish. So they're gonna want DiVincenzo. They're gonna want somebody like Deuce McBride. I know they didn't want Deuce McBride. I know they just were 100%. I want Dante DiVincenzo, which is fine. But that's why you want players. That's why you want guards. You don't need a center. Makes no sense. Can the Knicks start Deuce McBride? That's the biggest question. How would he help the team as a starter? Well, that would move Josh Hart to the bench. And if the Knicks really trust that Deuce McBride can shoot that three ball and it's really going to be sustained, I mean, the defense is there. I think that he's the perfect guard next to Brunson. If he can shoot consistently, like 36, 37%, I think he's the perfect guard next to Brunson. If he can shoot 36, 37%, that's perfect for what the Knicks need. But the biggest thing is that what he would bring to this team is he would move Josh Hart to the bench, which would help our bench unit a lot, and we would have that type of spark where Deuce McBride doesn't have to play that many minutes. He could just start, and then we could bring in Josh Hart like at the 4 minute mark in the first, where you can play like 6 minutes and sub out for Josh Hart, and you can run that type of thing, and you can stagger some people, and you got your two guard. And I think that's great for the Knicks. I think they need to do that type of thing. We're not trying to put the best players on the court to start. I know it's very enticing to do that, but if you can throw Deuce McBride the two, and you have trust in that, I wouldn't be opposed. What does Cat trade mean for Mitch? Well, I think it helps Mitch a lot where you could run a Cat Mitch in the playoffs and you could be fine. You could run a Cat at center in the playoffs, you'd be fine. It makes Mitch a very better player where he's very useful now, where he can, be down the paint. He can run that two-man game with Cat. I mean, Cat is a very good playmaker. I watched some highlights of Karl Anthony Towns. He's an amazing playmaker. And the pass he makes was great. I mean, if we can do that Rudy Cat type thing with Mitch and Cat, I know Mitch is not Rudy at all, but you can run that when he becomes healthy, or you can just have Mitch off the bench. There's a lot of stuff you can do with Mitch, and I think that's great. I do think at the end of the day, he might be traded at the deadline, but if you could do something with Mitch, I wouldn't be opposed to not trading him. I wouldn't be opposed to just keeping him because of how valuable he could be. I know injuries and stuff, he could be very valuable on the boards where you could space Cat out and make Cat be the primary four and just have him be that long range shooter where you don't need to have so much pressure on him defensively every single game, where you can have Mitch back there. But it just depends on the matchup, and there's a lot more matchups Knicks will run into. Every team's kind of different. So you're going to have those matchups. You're going to have to Mitch in your back pocket. If you want to play Mitch in the starters, where they match up well, where you need to put a Mitch, or maybe we match up well in the fact that we can just start Cat center. It really depends on which team you play. I think playing the Celtics, you might want to start Cat, but it depends. When you're playing Joel Embiid, you might need to start Mitch. It just definitely depends on which teams you play. And now the Knicks have so many versatility that they can play Mitch, or they can play Cat at the center, or they can play Cat the four and Mitch the five. There's a lot of stuff the Knicks can do now with the addition of Cat. So that's going to do it for the offseason Knicks episode. This was a little bit short, but I'm just thinking about the Mets. This is crazy. I just want to go back to just, man, everything just feels better right now. But the Mets are just back in the playoffs, and they're just doing very well. But that's going to do it for the next episode. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're a big Knicks fan like me, because this channel is for you. Next episode, we will be done watching the first 3 games of the preseason, and I'll be telling you some stuff about the preseason players, how they're playing. If there's somebody that's showing out, I'll tell you about that. But we'll also keep harping on the Cat trade and what that means for the team. So that's going to do it. Have a nice day. Peace out, and let's go Knicks.